All right. So, some of you know my ideas about Israel and Jerusalem, but I'll just recap it really quickly. So, I feel like Israel itself is a land which contains all of the diversity of the world. So, all of the trees and plants that grow anywhere else in the world grow in this little land. All of the mountains that you can see or that I've seen anywhere else in the world grow in or are on this land. There's pointy mountains and rolling mountains, and there's desert in the south. Anyways, it's almost like all aspects of the world, of the diversity of the world, are contained in this little land. All of the landscapes and the trees and the flora and the fauna. Also, in this land, Jerusalem is like a little bit of a microcosm of this land. So if Israel is a microcosm of the world, then Jerusalem is a microcosm of Israel. And what I've found is whatever happens in Jerusalem kind of happens around the world. So it's a very unique city. It's very hard to describe, and I won't describe it here. The point of this is that they had a light show in Jerusalem. And I know that they had this last year because I went and saw it, but it was nothing like this last year. This was something else. Oh my God, a friend dragged us out and said, you have to come and see this. And I just have to show you guys this because it is amazing. And it goes with this concept. I believe that they seed new ideas into the world through this place. If you look at the old city, all of the religions have their place there. They hold a space there. There's the Dome of the Rock, which is underneath it is the stone upon which the world began, the story goes. So all of these stories of all of our past and all of our history all began in this city, and things are seeded here in this city. And what happened with this light show is I believe that something was seeded here. And just let me show you. I'm just going to turn this thing down a little bit. And I'm going to go in here. And now just take a look at this. Let's see. As I was walking up, I just live a few blocks away, so we walked through the park to get to the light show and to get to the old city. So right across the street, you can see the old city. Now, this is what they had hanging up. Here's the walls of the old city. And you can see what this thing is. As we're walking up, I'm like, what is this thing that they've got hanging out of the old city? First of all, it's just strange having a light show over the old city, but what is this thing? Look at this. Let me just show you some more. Look at this thing. And as I'm walking up, I'm looking at it. It looks like an earth in the center or some sort of a dome. And around it, it looks like a Stargate. It is so clear as you walk up, and it looks exactly like the Stargates that we see in all the movies and all these things. Even the lighting of the ropes, of these triangles above, everything was crazy. I'll show you some more videos here. Look at this thing. Look at how it's shining. Look at how it's glowing. Look at this thing. It is unbelievable. So as we're walking up through this park, there's a valley in between myself and the old city. We started to see this and started to see these lights on the old city. And I was like, oh my God, something is happening here. And this crazy thing, it doesn't go with the city. It doesn't go with anything. It's just it's its own thing. So as we started walking up, we saw this. And I was fascinated by this because I was seeing, wow, this thing is like this Stargate thing. And then, as we got up closer, there were more light shows around the city. They had all these different light shows set up. And just let me show you. So the next thing that we came to was just before we entered in the gate of this city, we came up and they had this big thing projected on the walls of the city. Now, this show went on for probably an hour. You can see all the people here. And this was the most esoteric show I have ever seen in my life. I've watched lots of esoteric shows with different esoteric meanings. This light show was something else. It was just showing this amazing, let's just see if I can scan through it. Look at this. Look at this. So it comes through, and it's all about these triangle patterns, and it's about these triangle patterns lifting up the mind of man, cleaning the mind of man, and then inside is put this new triangle pattern. And the whole story seems to go about the history of mankind, all like this esoteric history of mankind, these thoughts, and it's all about the thoughts in our head. This was just some sort of I couldn't believe it. I stood there, look at like wings of angels in the pyramids and the halls and the symbolism. Oh my God, I have never seen anything like this. This was a masterpiece. And so first of all, we see this portal. And then we come across this. So this is the part after the mind has been removed, all of our past has been removed, and then inside of the mind, I don't know if you can see it in these pictures, these are all minds and these are all humans, and the story went that it seeded the mind with this pyramidal structure. It was the first color that came into this whole show after maybe 15 minutes of this show going on. The first color came in, it was red, and it was this pyramid structure being placed inside the mind. And the whole show before that was kind of showing our history, but through this really esoteric filmography. And then the mind was lifted off, and this new pyramid structure was put inside this mind, and then all of a sudden this whole mind pattern started spreading to all the minds of the world. And wow, like look at this. I mean, I don't even know how to describe this. I was dumbfounded. I was really dumbfounded by this whole thing. Look at these shows, look at them. And this just went on for, I don't know, we must have stood there for longer. And then as you come inside, what we had were all around, there were these prisms of light, and it was diffusing light. So what we had as we walked up was this big Stargate hanging over top of the old city with this new earth inside of it. And all of these crazy colors. Then we walk up going into the old city, and we see this whole story unfolding on this psychedelic pattern with prisms of light all around it, right beside this Stargate. And as we walked into the old city, which is the place where all of the stars, or where all of these old stories are held, as we walked inside, there was another light show, and this one was about, you could stand there and the show would turn you into light, and you could play with light. You became light. So here's this Stargate, this portal, and this new earth above the old city, this whole esoteric story, which was, wow, I wish I had more video. I wish I just would have filmed that whole thing. Anyways, this whole esoteric story of our past, our history, ancient history, through the Egyptians, through shamanism even, it was showing on this thing, and all of it being in the mind of man, and then the mind of man being lifted off, a new thought being seeded in, and then that just spreading out through the world and creating this whole esoteric dimension again with this new seed of mind. Then we walk into the old city, and the first thing is you can play with your being as a being of light. Let's see, I think I have some more videos here. So now it's turning you into light, and I mean, just, it was something else. And just here's one of the gates. This is Damascus Gate. This is one of the gates where most of the problems are, and they create there's a lot of problems here, and they're made, but they just transformed this gate into some beautiful thing. I mean, this was just beautiful, but it was, I didn't see the whole show. So anyways, I thought it was really something. I just wanted to put this out there and just make a little video about it. So that is that. I hope you guys enjoy this, because it was really something to watch.